Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cooper. Here I am, in your face again, right? You're not even in class, and here I am bugging you. Well, it's Wednesday, and by midnight tonight, you have to make sure that you have completed the orientation. Now, for those of you that have completed the orientation, let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't completed it, click this big button and complete it, and then come back and watch the rest of this video. Alright, so just like in class, I told you that you want to get started by checking the announcements, which you obviously did if you're watching me on this video right now. And then you want to go into modules. And so we are in week 1, so we're going to click on the week 1 tab and then work our way through to make sure that we've completed all of the work that we need to do for week 1. Now the orientation is done, hopefully for you, and now you are in module 1, and it will open up because if you've completed all the things in the orientation. So we're going to start with the week 1. Now if you haven't already looked at the module 1 overview, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to be doing for the whole module, which basically means for the next 4 weeks, what are we going to be doing? So here's an overview of that information and all of the work that you're going to be required to do during this time and what the point value for that is, and then each week, just to kind of give you an idea how it's spaced out. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit the next button, which is going to take me to the week 1 page. Alright, so starting today, Wednesday, we want to work our way through this content. And you should plan for about 6 to 7 hours. And that does include the orientation. So you probably already have about 3 hours of your work completed. Alright, so here's that chart that I was talking to you about in class. So you want to make sure that you take a look around Canvas. Most of you have done that already. I can see by your page views. You need to read chapter 18, and again, to do that, all you're going to do is scroll down and hit this button, and it's going to take you right on over. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and so it opens in a new tab, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Alright, so next you want to make sure after you've done your reading that you take the quiz. Now the only link to get to the quiz is going to be right here. So make sure you don't miss that. So there's a chapter 18 quiz, so read chapter 18 and then come back and take that quiz. Okay, so next, come on, my computer's working really slow today. I'm sure that happens to you guys all the time, right? Okay, so in class, we did the course orientation overview and then we did the syllabus overview. So that's done already. We're moving on. Now, what to do online by this Friday? Well, you have the Learn Smart Research Plan that's in Connect, and again, you'll get to the link down below. You'll have 2 lessons, and you want to make sure that you check your grade so that when you're done with these lessons and you have the score that you wanted. Now, if you don't get the score that you wanted, you can redo these lessons. Just like if you don't get the score that you wanted on this quiz, you can retake it so that you get 100%. Remember what I talked about that 100%. You don't want to leave any points on the table. When you have the opportunity to get 100%, you should always take it. That's a big hint for those of you that didn't get 20 on that orientation quiz. Why are you giving up those extra 2 points? You might need those down the road. Okay, and then lastly, we have a discussion that we're going to do. So just quickly, I clicked the link that took me over to McGraw-Hill, and then there's chapter 18. And so you are required to read, if we look at it again, the whole thing. And so when you go over to chapter 18, you want to make sure that you get all of these sections. So 18A, B, C, D, E. Alright, so after you're done reading, you want to go through each section just by choosing the next section down. You read that section, and these aren't long sections. It probably takes you about 10-15 minutes to read all of this stuff. Okay, and then you're going to go back over to Canvas, and I have a tab open, but you can hit this to return to Canvas. And then the next thing you want to click is the Chapter 18 quiz. Again, this is very short, quick, shouldn't take you a lot of time. Okay, so I am in Chapter 18 quiz. You can see that there are 10 questions worth 5 points. And so you can go through these 10 questions and answer them in the way that you see fit. Hopefully that way would be with the correct answers. Alright, and then again, once you complete it, If you didn't get 5 points, you can do it again. If not, you can move on to the next item. So here's just a little bit of reading for you, and then there's a question. So there's a preview of a question if you haven't taken it yet. All right, so let's go back to Canvas. I've already had it open here, so we're going to go back to my modules. Okay, so after you've done your reading and your quiz, you're going to work on the lessons and your Learn Smart and the discussion. All of the links to get to those things are right down here. So here are the lessons, and then this is Learn Smart. It'll take you back over to Connect, and then you have your discussion. Now, you want to make sure that you read the rules, or the rubric is what I call it. You might call it the rules, for how to get full credit on your discussion forums. So let's go ahead and look at that really quick here. It's pretty easy. It's about having a discussion. It's not about just posting information and having other people read what you have to say. It's more of an engagement with each other. I like the post where people are responding to others much more than I do the initial post. But that doesn't mean that those aren't important. I like those too, and that's where you get a good chunk of your grade. But if you're not replying to anybody, then it's not going to work out as far as a good grade for your discussion. So you want to make sure that you read clearly what it is that I want for you to do, okay? And then after you've posted answering this question, or not really a question, but writing your issue, you want to make sure that you read 4 to 5 other responses from your classmates, and then you're going to choose 2 to reply to. Now, you're not done yet if you really want to get 100% on this. If someone replies to you, you want to be sure to reply back, because that's how conversations work, discussions work. We don't just talk to ourselves. I know social media has changed it. Someone pointed that out already in the discussion forum, that social media has changed how we behave, but this is an educational class, and we want to make sure that we are discussing in a manner that is appropriate. And so we don't want to leave people hanging. Read their work and respond. If you agree, if you disagree, be kind. It's okay. That's what it's all about. We don't all agree with each other, obviously, right? This is the United States. Have you been paying attention with what's going on in our world today? Yeah, not a happy place for a lot of people. A lot of division. But we're going to try not to be that way in our class. We're going to talk to each other. We're going to discuss, and we're going to argue these points. Now, the key thing, too, is also to read the discussion rubric. So when I click on the discussion rubric link, it's going to give me kind of what the expectations and the guidelines are for how to get the 20 points for these discussions. So make sure you read through that. You know, if you only post once and you don't say much, that's just going to guarantee you 5 points. But go for the gusto. Go ahead and get those 20. And posting once will never get you 20. Now, the other thing that will never get you 20 is if you wait until the last day to make all of your posts. So I recommend that you start early in the week, like Wednesday. Perfect, today's Wednesday. And then you come back on Friday to follow up, to respond to anybody who's responded to you, and to also to respond to others. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Next week in class, I'll talk a little bit more about what these Learn Smart, Achieve assignments look like in Connect when you go over to do those. But for now, I think you have enough to do and enough to worry about. So if you have any questions, remember, go to Piazza and ask Piazza.